Hi, I'm JJ, and welcome to today's edition of JPJ Talk. For today's video, I want to take you all back to my story of what was sort of the catalyst for me to want to lose weight. And for me, that was how I hit rock bottom. Now, rock bottom for me came from a couple of different factors, and it was how I felt about my body and how my weight gain was affecting my body physically. And then finally, it was how I was being treated by other people. And that probably more so than anything was the catalyst for me wanting to lose weight. The backstory is I started my weight loss journey in January 2014. I was 260 pounds, so I was about 100 pounds heavier than I am now, and I was absolutely depressed and miserable. I hated my body, I hated how I felt in my body, and I hated how people treated me because of my body. And all of these things together just caused so much stress and depression within me. And as all of that just continued to get more and more amplified, I turned to food more and more as my coping mechanism for my depression. I've always not had a healthy relationship with food. Food is something that I've always, in one way or another, I've had a bad relationship with. Starting in middle school, I started snacking and eating to deal with the depression of becoming a teenager and the adolescence and all of that. In college, I went the other way with it. I became an anorexic in college. I hated food. I didn't want to eat food because I was I was big and I wanted to be skinny, and I thought, if I just stopped eating, I could be skinny and everything would be okay in life. After after I went through that, I went through a period where I was somewhat normal weight for my height, and then I started slowly gaining weight. And I think that was caused because of the onset of becoming an adult and having a profession and all of the things that come along with becoming an adult and the major life changes that happen. I would turn to food as a means for comfort and to get that sense of fulfillment that maybe I wasn't addressing the things that were stressing me out. So, as a way of coping, I would just turn to food. So, the food for me, it started as just sort of snacking and grazing on food. But it wasn't until I really started my binge eating that really caused me to gain a lot of weight. Now I binged ate off and on for several years, and it was something I wouldn't do every day. It was something I would do when I was alone, when I knew I couldn't be criticized or judged for what I was eating or how badly I was eating. Um, it was something that would just sort of happen. I would end up in a drive-through and order $20 or $30 worth of fast food, and I would run home and close my bedroom door. Even though I was at home by myself, I would close my bedroom door and sit and just binge on as much food as I possibly could, just to get to that sense of fulfillment. And it was a very dark and depressing part of my weight gain because it was very, very shameful. And it's something it's very hard to talk about, but it's part of my story, and I think it needs to be talked about because it is something that directly affected my my weight gain and how it amplified. Um, I was searching for that sense of fulfillment, and after you eat all of this food and you get that sense of full, and you can you're not worried about the things that are stressing you out because all you are is you're just so miserably full, and it gives you something to take your mind off of. But then that fullness goes away, and then you're left with the emptiness of being full, both physically and then the mental stress of the things that you're dealing with to cause you to eat and overeat. So then it just became sort of a vicious cycle of why I was eating so much. Um, the physiological changes in my body were scary, but they really weren't the catalyst for wanting to lose weight. And looking back on it now, it really should have been. But the the onset of weight started very slowly with gradual swelling, and then it turned into becoming winded, and then as a person who has diabetes in their family, the onset of the diabetes started, or the what I felt to be the onset of diabetes were starting. I would get tinglingness in my limbs and spotty vision and erratic changes in my blood sugar, which would cause me to eat a lot outside of binging. And then you would have that dramatic blood sugar drop. So those were all very scary things, especially at a younger age to be going through. But for me, it was the mental aspect of gaining weight, and that was in two different parts. That was how I felt about my body and like me as a person dealing with my body. So that was the stretch marks, the way that my clothes would feel against my skin, and that was one of the worst things, was to be sitting at my desk and feel my stomach pressing against my jeans and having to undo a belt buckle, or a belt buckle and the top button of my jeans, because it was so painful to sit there and just be so big and so just so large and in so much pain, and it was more mental than actual physical, but it caused so much duress within my head that it just caused me to want to eat more, just to not think about that feeling that I had at my desk. And there are a lot of other mental, you know, the aspect of gaining weight and having to constantly buy new clothes, or you feel like, how do I hide this body? What can I do to make it not so obvious, or dress to draw less attention to myself? How do I try and make myself look good when I don't even like how I look about myself? And that's something that was really mentally wearing. But I think more so than anything, aside from how I felt about my body or the physical changes in my body, it was the way that people treated me as an obese person. And this is something that not only is incredibly hurtful, but it makes me very angry, because when you're an obese person, people treat you less than. They don't even treat you as an equal to. And that's disgusting. It's absolutely deplorable the way that people treat obese people. Um, People look at you as if you're weak, like you have no constitution for strength, that you're lazy, and that you're not worthy to be included. And that it's really one of those things where you have to fight to be seen and fight to be heard and be taken seriously, because people don't look at you as if you are worthy of being included. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I felt like there were times when people just wanted me to be the fat guy in the back of the room and not to be seen or heard, but just be there, but don't participate. And that really got to me. And I was like, I'm worthy of more than this. I'm worthy of being treated as an equal, and that is what caused me to want to lose weight. Um, More so than anything, it was like I wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to be seen as a strong person and as a person who is worthy of being included into anything. So that's what really caused me to hit rock bottom mentally, was how I was being treated, and what really pushed me to exceed other people's expectations of me. People don't expect you to do anything. And I remember one of the first days that I went back to the gym, and I didn't really ever care about people looking at me, but I felt like people looked at me as though they weren't expecting me to do anything but pitter around for a few minutes and then leave. And the first couple of times it was like, our people are looking at me. I don't care that they're looking at me, but I know what they're expecting me to not do. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to try and outdo this. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to exceed my own expectations. And that's what I've been doing every day. I want to go and exceed my own expectations of myself and just be the strongest, most fit mentally and physically person I could possibly be. I'm making this vlog because I want to help people deal with their own weight loss struggles, and this is part of it. The mental is just as important, if not more so, than the physical, because The mental is what causes us to gain weight, and then this is what causes us to lose weight. The determination and the strength that you can find within yourself to overcome your obstacles is paramount in your journey. And you can do anything you set your mind to. I am wholeheartedly behind that because it is what caused me to be able to lose weight. Not anything I did at the gym or anything I ate. It was keeping a positive attitude and knowing that I could do anything I want to if I just try hard enough. And it's not going to come easily. There are days, there are weeks, there are months when you put everything into your weight loss program or into your muscle gain program or whatever you're trying to do. And you may have a very slight result or you may have no result. And then you have to deal with those feelings. But you know what? The fact that you're at the gym, you're eating right, you're doing what you need to do, that is worth more than anything else. So my story is just one in a billion, and I'm just putting it out there because hopefully I can help some of you with your stories and your journeys. So please, I look forward to reading any of your comments. Please subscribe to my channel, YouTube JPJ Talk, or visit my blog www.jpjtalk.com and read some of my stories and tips, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Y'all have a blessed night, and I will be with you soon.